today. Those will stain your clothes. So if you do get it on your clothes, you can wash it out right away and it should come out. Otherwise, it's your new paint shirt. Or wear a smock. We're all wearing smocks here. Make sure you push up your sleeves. Those sleeves tend to get a little bit more paint on them as well. Acrylics dry very fast. So we want to make sure that we're using the colors and we can blend right on the canvas. But that's why you want to keep these covers on so they don't dry out in your container before we get to it. Liam, can you get me a paper towel?
I did. It's right next to the camera.
Oh, thanks. So we have 2 brushes today. You should have gotten a large brush and a small brush. We won't need that small brush until the very end as well. So we're gonna do most of the background with our large brush. If you have not done so already, make sure you get a cup of water. I only filled mine up about a halfway. You don't want to fill it all the way because then it will splish splash as we clean them out. If you do have a cup of water for drinking, keep it at a separate place. You don't want to accidentally drink your water cup because that would taste
terrible.
I'm pretty sure that would poison you.
It won't poison you. If you do accidentally drink it, it actually won't hurt you. It just won't taste good. All right. What we always do is soften our bristles. So what I want you to do is go ahead and leave your paintbrushes in the water cup. We want to soften your bristles up. So just gently push down. We're going to use the large brush first. So the small one you can just leave in your cup. And the large one just gently push down. And then we're going to wipe off the excess water on your paper towel. That's right, on the other in front of you. Careful. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is take the tops off your yellow and your white. You want your yellow and your white first. I'm gonna get my, oops, sorry. All right. So we're gonna do yellow and white. What I wanna do is I'm gonna dab my whole brush, one side of it in white. And then on the other side, I'm gonna grab a little bit of yellow. It's okay if you get a little white inside that yellow, that's okay. So I have white on one side and yellow on the other. Now this cross-hatching that I'm gonna do, let me show you with my brush. I'm gonna use the entire edge of this brush. So I am gonna do some X's like this on my brush. I wanna use that whole broad edge. And this is how I do it. I'm gonna start at this top right corner and I'm just gonna make some X's. And that white and that yellow blend right on the canvas. Now, the other thing you want to think about is that top edge. We're going to paint that top edge yellow, and that wherever the color hits, you want to do that ribbon edge. So I'm going to concentrate on doing those sides too. That way you don't need to frame it. It makes a nice finished product at the end. Now you keep going with this until my paint runs out. As you can see, my paint is starting to run out of my brush. Okay, so as you run out, I want you to go ahead and grab white on one side and yellow on the other. We're going to take this yellow all the way down. It's going to be about halfway and almost all the way down, I should say. Now, don't worry about this bottom edge. We'll paint that at the very, very end. So we just want to paint the sides. And I'm just going to take a little bit of white at the very end, just white, to blend it all the way towards the bottom. So once you get about a quarter to the bottom, just use white. Mm-hmm. No, that's good. Don't forget to do your edges, the sides of your canvas. So the top and the sides. As we wait for my kids to finish, if you finish, go ahead and leave your paintbrush in your water until we get to the next step. And you can add more yellow if you want. If you really like the way this looks and you want to add yellow throughout the whole thing, you absolutely can. My one side's going to be more yellow and greens, and then over here is going to be more reds, purples, and blues. So I don't want to add too much yellow over here if you're going to add some reds. So just something to think about. Oh, cool. Now, if you have clumps of paint on your canvas, you want to make sure you move those around. We don't want lots and lots of clumps on here because then those will take a little bit long to dry. Like, if you can see, let me show you. So if you can see that, how you can almost see that clump of paint, we don't want any of those clumps. So then clean out your brush and just make sure it's smooth.
Okay,
Then you're good.
can I wash this so I can keep it?
You should. You take a look at mine real quick.
I think I'm finished.
Yeah, that looks good.
I think I'm finished. I'm almost done. Good.
Good.
You like it?
Yes, I love it. Now there's the clump right there. So smooth that out. Good.
You don't want any clumps.
Don't want any clumps.
Trying to get all that white away and make it.
Now, if you do feel it's easier to put a little of the paint on the tray, you can do that too. If you want to put just a little. Let me show y'all. I'm working with bottles. So you can add with your, just scoop out a little of the colors as we work, and you can put them on the tray if you want. Otherwise, you can just work inside the tubs too. Cool.
I'm done. It looks
Okay.
nice. It looks really nice. Mine looks nice too. Yeah.
Oh, did you want this one or the?
I want turquoise. I want turquoise.
You
No,
want
I'm not looking. I want turquoise.
I'll take both. I'll take the color.
Oh yeah. I'll take
You know what? Let me do both.
Yeah.
And then we can use the one that we want. I'm gonna use turquoise.
I know, I like this turquoise. I think it's gonna be pretty.
Wait, Mom, do I need another white or are we finished with white?
No, you can use that same white.
Okay.
If the white has a little yellow in it, that's okay.
Not everything's supposed to be perfect.
Well, we like to blend these anyway.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do next is if you need a little bit more white on your tray, you can get white again, or you could just keep it in the containers. I'm gonna work with white in that turquoise color, the green color next. And I wanna do the same thing. I wanna take a little bit of white on one side. You always wanna start with white, so that way we don't get it too dirty, and a little bit of turquoise on the other. This time, I'm gonna start down here, and I'm gonna bring it up. I'm still working in that X motion. And I also want to add a little bit of white to blend it back into the yellow. That blue really goes far. So this is where you can really play with it. This is where it gets fun. So in the original picture, what you saw was up and down motion, okay? This is a little bit more advanced. If you want to do this up and down motion, you can do it this way. And as I just keep grabbing a little bit more white to blend. Or you can take white on one side, turquoise on the other, and do that X. So it kind of depends on which style you like. Do you like it a little bit softer, almost like it looks like clouds, or do you like the up and down motion? And we're going to take that turquoise. It's all the way down here. Grabbing white as you need it. That turquoise goes a little farther. I kind of like the X motion.
I like the up and down.
You like the up and down better? Good.
Yeah.
I just like all over.
And I also want to take, so as I run out of paint on this side, I'm going to grab just yellow and I'm going to blend it back into my turquoise. It kind of makes like a bluish turquoisey green.
Oh, that's pretty.
I forgot to do the top of it. Oh my gosh, Mom, it's turning green.
Yeah. So you can add a little bit more white so you can soften that seam up. If yours got a little bit too...
Mom, I got over too.
Yes, go back to yellow too. You can blend between those two colors.
Mine got way too green.
That's okay. Yeah, that looks pretty.
Mom,
So don't just add more white. If you're starting to get too much of the green, you can add more white to blend those two together. Yes, and then go all the way to the bottom.
The turquoise?
With all the colors. So you can take that turquoise down to here, or you can just take some white down in there.
Can I switch turquoise?
Yeah, you can do that.
I'm gonna switch.
This is going to be the first coat. We're going to do a second coat too.
With a small brush.
No, we're going to do the background first, and then we'll do the trees after.
Okay. Need the white now.
So as you play with this, if you want to start going up and down, you can. If you like how that looks. So I take that vertical motion and I have that broad edge of my brush and I just go up and down. Or you can continue with those X's. Once we start adding these darker colors like the blues and the turquoises, we want to go a little bit less with them. Oops, sorry. And you can blend right on the page. I like the X for little hands. I just think it helps blend.
Oh, that looks cool.
But if you are a little more adventurous and you want to try this, you can with that up and down. But again, if you don't like that, as you're blending and you're not liking how it's blending, go ahead and X it out again. These colors work really well together. So you will be good. Careful with the yellow. You don't want to take too much away. You don't want to add too much blue to the yellow, especially if you really like how that looks. If your greens are getting a little bit too high, we'll be a little careful as we add the oranges.
My water's turning green.
That's okay. We'll do a water change later.
Oh, do you like mine?
Let's see. No, it looks good. Oh, good job, Alex. That looks great.
Do I have to blend this?
Now, as we
Do I have to
continue,
blend these?
you can. As we continue to paint, take pictures of the process. You can take a picture of as we're starting to do our backgrounds. We would love to see them on Facebook. As you finish, and we love the process, right?
Yeah.
We want to see the beginning, the middle, and the end. So take some yellows into here too. And I'm gonna.
Oh. Mama, I'm done with this stuff.
Okay, cool.
This is I'm getting rid of all the green and I'm trying to get rid of all the green and it's just can I have yellow?
Oh, that looks good.
Mom, can I have maybe yellow? No. Mom, can I add white right here? Blue.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna add some white.
Now, if you're cleaning out your brushes in between, that's fine. Just be careful. You don't want to add too much water to this. You want to make sure you're drying off your paintbrushes really well so that it's not going to drip. So, Alex, yours was getting a little drippy, so be careful. I don't want it to. That's pretty. I like that.
I want this in my room. I want
For sure.
I'm gonna tell them we're done. This is looking awesome.
My next color I'm going to do is blue, the blue color. I'm going to do a blue and a little bit of white.
Begin with white.
So I'm going to clean out my paintbrushes. Okay, and as we continue to do this, I want just to remind you that the color is, the painting that we saw at the beginning was the inspiration, right? Even mine is going to change from the last time I did it. Every time you do a painting, it changes a little bit. So don't compare yours to your brother or sister sitting next to you or to mine. You want yours to be creative to you, okay? So I'm going to grab again. I'm going to do white on one side. And this time I'm grabbing the blue, that darker blue. And I am going to start at the bottom this time over here. Kind of over here at the bottom.
Okay.
And I'm going to start bringing that blue into that green. Just a little bit. Ooh, that's pretty.
That's cool, Mom.
Yeah. Now remember, if you like that X motion, go ahead and do that X. If you like how that one way looks, it looks like soft clouds. That works. And don't forget the top. And the sides of your canvas. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I am going to add a little bit of that reds and purples up here. Okay.
Can we do the bottom?
Not yet. Don't do the bottom yet. Whoops.
No, like can I paint the bottom?
We're painting the canvas, not the floor.
Yeah, no, yes, go all the way to the edge, but you don't need to paint the bottom edge, Aiden.
Okay.
Not that part, but you can go all the way to the bottom. And it doesn't have to be perfect to the bottom. As you can see, it's a little messy down here. That's okay because I'm going to end up painting that black when I add the trees at the very end.
I need more white.
Okay, hold on a second. No, you got plenty of white.
I know that. I'm just getting more.
Oh, what more
Right.
white on there? I got you.
I think I'm good for blue.
All right, go ahead. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Hold on one second. Let me finish my blues.
And let us finish ours. I need big ones.
Now we're gonna do another coat on top of these. It's pretty soft right now because we added white to it. So we'll deepen those colors in just a moment. You good?
Oh, I want it. Can I do the rest of this red and pink? Like right here?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to like, go all the way
That's fine.
with the purple.
So my next colors, I'm cleaning out my brush again, and the next color I'm going to add is white. So I do want to add, this time I'm just going to do a little bit of red, a little bit of white on one side, and then I'll do red. And I want to start at the top right here, and then blend that into the blue. And then to blend it, you can just add a little bit of white to it. Again, are you doing an X pattern? The red gets a little tricky. If it's not working too well, that's okay. We can cover it up with blue. The red is just a little bit more difficult to not look so muddy. So you want to go a little easy with the red. We don't need a whole lot of the red. Oh, you guys need red. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Can I just do this whole side red, like right here?
Yeah, but add a little bit of white to it.
I know. That's what I'm doing in the same step that I'm always doing. White and red on one side, red on the other.
White on one side and red on the other.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll probably blend this a bit more.
That's fine. I'm just gonna throw in this entire space with red.
And then make sure you roll up your sleeves. About to.
Fine, just for me. Alex, that's fine. Go take showers.
What? It's on the clothes.
If it's on the clothes, then. No, it's on me. Okay, then you can wash it.
You want to go off and wash yourself.
Okay, can I like get red and then once I'm done with the red, then I can add white to it?
That's what I'm doing.
Say that again? Oh, do the, yeah. You can,
I do red first and then do
yeah, that's fine. So if you want to just do a little bit of red up here and then blend with white, that's fine. We're going to end up adding a little bit of red back on top of here.
This is looking really pretty. This is definitely going into my room. Yep, after I show you.
And then to blend here, you can just add some white. I know. White is a good eraser, so if there's any area that, if anything isn't working really well, we can add white back into it, and that will help. But we're going to add a little bit more color to this too. Good job.
Could we put this in our portfolio?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I show yours? Because I think it helps. So my son Alex is just doing them in different strips, and I think that works really well too. So he just took that red all the way down, the blue all the way down, green, yellow. So he's just doing it almost in that rainbow, cool color, warm color order, okay? So that's fine too.
Or you could say that it's yeah.
Well, we're gonna add some reds and oranges in a minute too. However, it's easiest to blend on here is perfect. I know after.
I accidentally did opposite sides. Is that alright?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if you did the yellow on this side, no matter what, it's going to work. So if you did yellow over here, that's fine. No matter which direction you did it.
Just need to do the sides and the top, and I should be done.
And don't forget your sides. Oh, I know you kind of forget the sides pretty easily. So those tops and the sides. So I did this side blue, and then my top has some red, yellow, green, and blue. So wherever, just want to do that rolled edge.
I think I'm going to do pretty sure I'm going to do
We're going to make orange in a minute.
with yellow and red. Sorry I couldn't get paint on the canvas, like at the.
Oh, the easel? Yeah, that's fine.
It's supposed to get paint. Ah, look, I'm on. So I just started it up here.
And it's fine throughout this. If you need a grown-up to change out your water, that's fine. We shouldn't need too much water change, but I know a lot of you like to have that clean water. Sometimes I do too. Water change. Yeah, go ahead.
I usually have the whole water all the way through. Okay.
I'm gonna
start adding some white. Okay. Oh my goodness, my red.
You good?
Look at mine. They're
That's
red.
good.
Hey, were you finished yet?
Oh, not even close. I still have one.
I still gotta blend my bread, and then I'm good.
We're gonna add some more colors too. So as we continue, you guys might want to blend then. That looks good. All right. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a scoop of my yellow, and now you definitely need your tray. So make sure you grab your tray. We want a little bit of yellow and like 2 dollops of yellow, and then just add a little bit of red at a time until you get an orange that you like. So this is kind of a softer orange. I'm gonna add another little bit of red because I want more of a red orange. So I'm pretty happy with that. I want you to be happy with it. Now we use our paintbrush to mix. So you want to make sure you wipe off the excess just on the side before we use it on our canvas. We don't want, for this part, we don't want a huge ton on our canvas or on our paintbrush. We want to wipe it. So it's just a little bit. All right, so we are making orange. Do you need to clean your water?
I'm doing that and I'm mixing. I washed it and I mixed it and then it's just.
All right, so I add just a little bit of orange. And what I want to do, if you have more of that yellow up here, I'm going to use this time the side. So I'm going to hold my brush vertical. So I'm still using that big brush, but I'm holding it vertical. So I'm going to make a really thin line by holding my brush this way. Not this way. That's how we did it in the background. This time I'm going to do it vertical. So what I want to do is I just want to start at the top and add some lines straight down. Just to where there's yellow. You don't want that orange to go into the green because then that's going to turn a little bit brown. So just a little bit of orange. And you can kind of play with it.
Can I have a yellow orange? Because I like yellow orange.
Yeah, you can make whatever orange you want. So some of you might have more of this orange color. And some of you might have less. It depends on how much yellow you ended up with all that green. So you can add a little bit of orange over there. And just to the bottom, I'm just softening or blending with a little bit more yellow. So be careful with the orange. Don't get it too close to the green.
Because then it would turn brown.
Yeah, then it turns a little bit brown.
We want orange. Brown is not a color.
The nice part about it is it should be a little bit more dry over here, so it should be a little bit easier to add. And as you continue, add a little bit more yellow. If it starts getting muddy, stop, and we can add a little bit more white. We don't want it to be muddy. This is really bright and colorful. So if it starts getting really muddy, just stop, okay? We'll let it dry, and then I will walk you through how to fix it in a minute. You added the orange?
Nice. Yeah, look. You like it, Mama? That looks very good. I like that.
All right. On top of this orange, just a little bit. Oh, yeah, just a little. I'm just grabbing a little bit of red. I'm going to add just a little bit of red right to that top corner. And remember, I'm going to do a little bit on the sides. I'm not going to do too much more of these warm colors over here.
Turn orange.
Yeah, we'll turn orange. But then it's like a nice value change of red. And then you can always clean out your brush and add a little bit more yellow if you need to. Just a little red on top of it.
To make it more orange?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I like mine.
You do? Oh, it's good. All right, let's add a little bit. Make sure you're doing a vertical brush stroke. We're either going up and down, vertical, or crisscross. All right. Now I want to make that purple, so I'm going to clean out my brush. I'm going to clean out my brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of red, 2 dollops of red, and then I'm going to grab blue. And then it just depends on what purple you want. If you want it to be a little bit more bluish purple, you can add a little bit more blue.
I like more blue.
I might add just a touch of white to mine too.
Oh, that would look nice. More. I like mine how it is.
That's fine. And if you are happy with the way yours is looking, you can stop.
Purple coming in. Purple.
Ooh, that's pretty though.
This?
Yeah, I like that blue.
Wait, where do I put it?
Hold on.
So where is it? Alex, look at this. I was just mixing it and I just.
It looks pretty.
I just created a new color.
It's like it's a nice royal blue.
Royal blue. Royal blue. Royal blue.
All right.
Royal blue.
So with your purple, remember once you get the color made, you like the color. My Alex doesn't want to add the purple. He wasn't liking how it looked, and that's fine too. If you're not liking how that purple looks, you don't have to add it. But I'm wiping off the color to the side of my plate because I don't want to add too much. And I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to add a little bit more of that darkness, the same way that I added that orange. This is where you can just start playing with it a little bit more. purple is going to go over blue really well, and it's going to go over red really well. So you can do as much or as little as you want. So I'm going to do a little bit down here, adding a little bit of it in.
Do I need to keep it away from the red?
No, purple goes over red really well.
Okay, so I can blend it in.
Yes.
Because I like that. Like royal blue.
However much you want. Oh, see, that's pretty. It's looking really good right there.
Thank you. Then I need more blue.
More to solid blue?
More solid blue and then more red.
No, you're fine with red. Oh, do you need more blue paint?
Yes.
You got plenty of red.
Oh, you didn't know. I know I didn't know red.
I also want to do the same thing if I want to just add straight blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take blue on my brush, and I'm going to add that throughout to darken up the colors. If I want you to stop. Once you have this transition the way you like it, you can stop. You don't need to keep adding. But we added a nice base with the color and some white. And now we're adding just the solid color to this. The solid color blue, the solid color red. If we need to add more yellow, we can clean out our brush really well and add more yellow.
Can I add more white? Because I don't need more blue or red. It looks good. Because I want white.
Yeah, if you want it lighter, we can add, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that.
Oh, I didn't even mean to make this, but I have like a golden orange.
Cool. And if you like that, then don't blend it anymore. It is possible to overwork your canvas. So make sure you stop as soon as you're happy with it. I think you guys know me by now. It's really hard for me to stop. I keep adding.
Yeah, that's something we've done.
I like to add more.
Same.
I don't like him the way mine's looking. I'm kind of liking this white in the corner.
Mom, do you
It
like
was
mine?
unintentional. I did not mean to do that, but I kind of like it.
Mom, do you like mine?
Let's see. Oh, that's cool.
Royal
What
blue.
about mine?
I would soften this up a little bit more
What do you mean
to
soft?
blend it a little
What
bit
do you
more.
mean soft?
Mine look good?
I'll blend yellow right on top. So clean your brush out really well.
Okay. so-
Yeah, that looks cool. I really like this turquoise
Oh,
color.
I like
So I'm
that.
going to add this at the bottom as well, just to get a little bit more of that turquoise in there. And this time I'm just going straight with that color. You can add that turquoise all the way into yellows or blues. That will work just fine. Careful once you get around to those reds. That turquoise doesn't like reds or purples.
I'm done. I really like it.
Awesome.
I'm not.
Once you're done, we're going to let these dry for a minute. We want the base to be done. We're going to let everybody catch up.
Yeah, that looks good. I like it.
I'm
A
about
lot.
done too.
Mom, look at this. It's beautiful. I love it.
It looks gorgeous. I love the white over here.
Gorgeous.
And the nice thing is too, as we place our trees, if you had trouble transitioning from one color to the next, we're going to put a tree right there. So it's going to be nice to place our trees on top of this.
Wait, did you say something about adding a tree?
We will in a minute. We're going to do black for the trees.
Oh wait, we're gonna like make the ground black and then just like add.
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
want
that would
the
be like
backgrounds to dry a little bit before we do that.
Mom, I don't have room for black.
No, we'll put a wall background.
Oh my goodness. All right, so go ahead and take a bathroom break or get a cup of water. We'll come back in 3 minutes to start our tree.
Still a egg, 150.
I like it.
I do too. Actually, I might add like a little snow too.
Why does it need snow?
Oh, no, yeah. We might show them how to do snow too. Why not?
This is mine looking gorgeous. What I'm doing is I'm just doing another coat of white.
Okay, but be careful because we want to do the black in a minute.
I know, that's what I'm not doing the bottom.
Okay.
Like, I'm just adding white to the green. It's always when I feel like I put too much white on sometimes, and it doesn't go through.
So then just blend it without
Then I just
without any paint. A lot of times you can just blend without paint. Yeah, that looks good. Now the canvas doesn't have to be perfectly dry. Black goes on really well, but we have to be very careful with black. Once you add it on, it's really hard to take it away. Dark colors are harder to take away, so we'll be really careful with our black. We're gonna do our small brush for our black.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna put it right in the middle.
Oh, my middle.
Like where you're, no, because I will be fine. It's not gonna go.
I don't want to.
Oh wait, that's fine.
That's what I want. Okay. Do we have to soften this?
Yes.
I'm
All right, we'll give it one more minute. Make sure you have your black ready. Oh.
Somebody just said they're falling behind. Okay, my brush is softened.
All right. If you need another paper towel, you can grab one too. It's okay if yours is really messy. We're just going to be using black for the remainder. We might use a little bit more white if we have some. Your paper towels are great, guys.
Mine's like.
No, I know, but we're not going to need to
Clean
clean it too much. We want to make sure that we're using our smallest brush for this one. You can use, I'm going to show you in a little bit how to use the larger one. Sometimes I think that can be easier too, but we'll start with a small brush. And we're going to use black. So make sure you soften your bristle by putting it in the water. Then get the excess water off by doing your paper towel.
Mine's super colorful. Like I see orange, green, purple. I don't think
Awesome.
purple.
I've seen a couple friends. You guys are doing amazing. I love this. Awesome. All right, so this is how I'm going to do the black. I'm going to add just a little bit, and I'm going to roll it around on the sides so I have a nice, just a little bit on the tip, okay? Liam, you don't need to clean it out, really, because it's just going to be black.
Do it.
Now, I don't want to go completely to center. Now, if your canvas is not completely dry, that's okay. Black goes on really well over colors. If it's dripping or if it's a little bit clumpy, we can give it another minute, okay? Remember, you can pause and rewind, and this will be posted on this site, so if you need to go back through, they will be there. So I'm going to look at center, and I want to go off center a little bit. So here's my center point. I'm going to go to the left, maybe like 2 fingers. I want to draw my first tree, and the way I'm going to do that is just by adding a vertical line down. It does not need to be perfect. I'm going to make this a little bit darker so you guys can see it a little bit better. Now I love drawing trees. They're my favorites.
Team trees.
Team trees for sure. What I love about drawing trees is it's really easy. If you think about the top of a house, you just need to make that triangle at the top of a house. Here's my other brush. I'll show you with. Then all we need to do, make sure, is this is stippling. When I add, I can actually use this broad edge like this. Okay, so I'm using the whole edge. I want to stipple on, so I'm going to be going back and forth. Okay, and I'm continuing making those triangle roofs of the house. So it's going to be slightly angled, very slightly. It's almost like a straight line. So even if I want it a little bit thicker towards the base of the tree. And then as I get farther away, I'm going to that tip of my brush. Now, as I go down, I want to continue making it a little bit wider. These trees are going to be pretty thin. I don't want to go super wide with them. So I'm only going to go about 2 fingers on one side of the trunk and 2 fingers on the other side. So it's a little bit thinner just at the top. And if you have spaces in here, you can just add another little branch. Did you guys get that?
Yeah. Can you check mine?
Okay, so if we have what we have for you, I'm going to show you. So if we are going like this is awesome, right? We want to add more in between. So what I'm going to do is go back in and add spaces in between each one.
I have spaces in between every single one.
So remember, it's not going to be just a line like this. We're going to press and come back up. That way you get a little bit more of that organic line.
How many trees are you going to draw?
A lot. I don't know. Everyone might have a different amount of trees. It depends on how
many trees you want.
Yeah.
And how much
I might do like
space.
3, 4.
No, we're gonna do them all the way across.
And then we're gonna draw some birds, right?
Yeah.
Bats. Birds, bats. Same thing. No, actually, they're not.
Dude,
Same
stop,
thing.
guys.
Now, as you get to the bottom, you can make them a little bit thicker. And this is where at the very end, we'll paint at the bottom. Now, you can continue if you liked how that worked with the small brush. You can continue with the small brush. Or if you want, go back to the big brush. And remember how we talked about how we can use this as a vertical line? You can use the big brush using a vertical line. And in the background here, I'm just going to make a thinner tree. Bless you.
Thank you.
So less is more. I can always go back into my trees if I don't like how they're looking. But as you can see right here, I kind of made that almost too thick. So it's harder to take it away. Less is more with black. We just need a little black because we want to show those beautiful colors that we added in the background. So as I continue, I'm going to add, I personally like the big brush, but I know I've been doing this a lot longer than a lot of you. So use a small brush if that's easier. Some of yours that are a little bit farther in the distance can just have a little bit less. Do I have any third graders in here? I'm going to do our horizon line where the sky meets the ground. So as we begin and keep talking about that, we have trees that are farther away, right? So I drew them smaller and in the back.
Mm-hmm.
We've got trees that are farther or closest to us, so they're going to be larger and towards the front. So I want to do a variety of trees, and I can continue to do it the same way. Starting with my trunk, adding my stippled lines going down. So as you can see, when I'm adding these trees, I'm not going back in for more paint. I can do one tree with one loaded paintbrush. I don't want too much. And that horizon line that we're doing, that ground down here, I'm just adding little variations. So they're going to have little divots. Well, that looks good. Now make some smaller too.
I know. I'm doing that in the back. I'm doing 7 trees.
So as you add them, some of them are going to be taller, some of them are going to be shorter. You can also do You have your stippled line, and you can just go straight across if that's easier too with your line. Some of your trees might be a little bit fuller, meaning they're a little bit darker. Well, I think I'm going to keep that one like that. I kind of like that one.
Can I keep?
So it's not going to go all the way to the bottom. Oh, that looks good.
Can I do one more? Just like the one.
Yeah.
before.
You can even just do little ones like this, Aiden. So it's like, it's not a full tree. It's almost like a...
Yeah, I'm gonna do that next. I can't finish my trees.
How'd you do that so fast? I'm not even done with my trees.
I've got like 4 trees so far.
I got it. Did you do the ones that are in the back?
So what else is nice as you're doing your trees is if there was an area that you weren't happy with, like let's say I'm not happy with this where this is blending, boom, I'm gonna put a tree right there.
I'm at a house at the top of one of mine.
Now if your trees are a little bit more full than mine, that's okay. You're just gonna have less trees. We can all have a different amount of trees. If there's an area you really love, you don't need to put a tree there. So I'm kind of liking this area back here. I think maybe I'll just add like a little one right there. Just a little tree in the background. Because I kind of like that turquoise area.
Do you like one? Do you like this one the most? Because it's like
Yeah,
fading.
it's good.
It's fading.
So don't forget, we're going to add that black, almost a black line all the way at the bottom. So that's going to be the silhouette for the ground.
Alright, where's Horizon line gonna be?
I think I already got my ground.
It's right at the bottom.
Yeah, I already did my ground.
Wait, so the whole thing's gonna be
Yeah, the whole thing's going to be black. And I'm going to show you how to...
bottom's gonna be black?
Yeah, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So I'm doing one tree coming off the edge.
I'm gonna finish out my ground. I'm doing like a hill. Like a
Oh, that's pretty. I like that.
like a sledding hill.
Yeah.
At the
Oh my
side.
goodness, Alex, that one's cool. Nice job. All right, now I'm doing trees all the way over. So if you can add that ground all the way over, we want that ground throughout. Alex, did you add the ground?
I just finished adding it.
Okay.
When I drew a house out on one of my trees,
You did a what?
I drew a house.
Oh, you got a tree house up there. All right, and then I'm gonna do some over here.
Yeah, this. How do we do the snow?
Dude,
Hold on one second, bud.
be more careful.
Because I want to do the snow.
I know. Hold on.
I
All right,
wanna
and then I'm
do
gonna
the
do another tall one over here.
under-
So we want trees everywhere. So you kind of need to work with the trees and what works best for you. Some of us might like the small brush. Some of us might like that big brush. We'll definitely use that small brush as we add the birds. What did you guys use, the small or the big brush?
Big. I use some small, but then
Yeah,
like I don't know.
What are you talking about? The floor?
for the trees.
I used a little bit of both.
I didn't like. I did 2 small trees, but then I didn't like the look of it. So then I went to the black, the big. It's hard to
I like my tall tree with the
It's hard to tell that
big trunk.
it's hard to tell.
These look good.
I like mine how it is. Just I want to know.
Okay, now you can stop there.
I
Always stop there.
just want to learn how
Or, what do you want?
let's not do snow.
Okay.
I want to do.
I'm going to add a little water to my black, okay, and kind of roll it around on my tray. I want a very little bit, okay, very little bit of black. So most of it's water, but I don't want it to be dripping. And this is optional too. If you're happy with the way this looks, you don't have to do this. You could also, this is a little tricky, so you could also add your birds with a permanent marker later on tonight after the whole thing is dry. A permanent marker to do the birds would be awesome too. Or just a very, very little bit of black. You can just do a little V. So it curves out. So if you think about that letter V arcing. Another thing my kids just mentioned, thank you, Aiden. This might be better too with permanent marker. If you have one with a grown up, of course, right? We're always asking for permanent markers with a grown up. All right. So if you like how the birds look, you can do the birds. If you don't like how the birds look, you don't have to do the birds. That's fine. That's fine. The other thing my boys wanted to add was snow. That's another thing that we could add too. I'm going to use the back of my paintbrush. So not the brush. I'm using the back, the handle. And I'm going to add a little bit of white. And I'm just going to add, this is a little bit more difficult to see, some white dots.
I like this.
Do you like the snow?
Yeah.
If you want to add just a little bit of snow, that would be another option too. That's kind of cool.
You don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
You do not have to if you don't want to. If you like how it looks, then you don't have to.
Or the you could just do it up here. It could be snow or it could be stars. I don't know. My boys were just kind of feeling like
Snow season coming up.
So just another option.
Good idea.
Oh, that looks cool. I like that. Now, if you are doing the snow, you want to make sure you add it on top of that black. Now, let's say I did something and I did not like it, okay?
Go over it with white.
You got it.
And
so
then
you really, really, really want to clean out your brush. And the area needs to be dry. The area needs to be completely dry. But let's say I don't like this tree down here. What I could do is I can just add a little bit of white to erase it. Then you would let that dry. And then you can paint the sky back into it.
I finished doing. Mom, I did side birds. Like birds on its side.
Okay, so that's how you would erase something. Be careful if you need to use white. You need to let everything dry, and then you can add the details. And if you need to do it after it dries, don't forget you have these awesome lids. If you put these lids on your paint, you should have a lot of extra paint left over. You could just put these lids back on and do another activity later. Acrylics are really great for lots of activities. You guys could go to the dollar store and get wood cutting boards, and you could use acrylic to paint something cool on there. So there's lots of ideas to use the paint up. Oh, Alex, that was so cool. I like your birds.
I also drew a snowman.
I'm gonna add my tree back.
You did?
And of course, as always, the very last step is to sign it. Now, we did black. You could. It looks good, Liam.
I made a great back.
You could let it dry and sign it somewhere here or somewhere in the corner, even on the side. You could sign your name with Sharpie. I kind of like the Sharpies because you get that nice feeling.
What?
Or you could do white in the corner. You could sign your name. Now, as you finish your trees, what you want to do is paint that bottom edge. That bottom edge. So, guys, listen. So that bottom edge right here, we're using easels at my house, but you guys will just paint that whole thing black. Now, if you forgot to paint your edges, what you could do is paint all the edges black. You could go all the way around and just paint a nice ribbon
Now all I need to do
of black.
is
And I think this one is going to have to go.
Can you just put it in this side once it's dry?
Yeah, once it's dry, yeah. And you just finished your awesome, beautiful Northern Lights wintry scene. I hope you guys had fun. So once you guys finish these up, and it might take you a second or two, that's totally fine. You have time to finish the trees, do the snow if you want, or the birds. And take a picture and post it to the Home and School page. You guys absolutely could email me too. I would love to see them, but I'll go on Facebook too and see all of these. But I'm so glad you guys came and saw me today. Yay, we got to paint this year in 2020. And I'll see you guys next week in school. Miss you guys. Thank you.